Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moonride. This is Dave Johnson, channeling Man Moon. I want to talk about two things today. First is the Trump tapes. It looks like Jack Smith's got a bunch of tapes. I want to know what's on them, what's going to happen regarding them. Also, in Russia, it looks like the kind of wacky general mercenary guy. I don't know how to say his name. It's Peril or something. Y'all know who I mean if you look at the New York Times. It looks like he's kind of having a coup right now. I think that's really interesting and good for Ukraine. We'll take a look at that today too. If you get a chance, take a look at Pyramid 4. I think it's going to come up here, but it always comes up the opposite place of where I say. I'm just going to put a little tag here. There's some really interesting work on my trance channel, and take a look. Let's start with um, the Trump tapes. So I'm seeing four tapes specifically. And I'm seeing like the old school tapes, like we used to put in our stereo. It's like, and maybe more, maybe just the four are principal. It's kind of like I'm looking it's kind of like a 3D thing, and like four come up first. But I think there could be more in the background. It might be even that they don't need those tapes, that four is enough. Um, let's see what's on the tapes. So I'm seeing Jack Smith. This is the tapes are really useful in a bunch of different ways for Jack Smith. First of all, he's like the sort of pulling strings from above. He's got all the power because other people don't know what's on the tape. So they can't come and say, hey, this happened, because Jack Smith will have a tape which contradicts that, and they could go to jail for perjury. So he's kind of just dangling these tapes and compelling a lot of people to come forward. Well, they have to, if they're subpoenaed, to tell the truth. So he's going to use those tapes not just for the information, but for the threat of the information. It's quite it's really ingenious. Like he's got all the power here, and honestly, Trump is no match for this guy. So he's got these things going on. And I'm really want to know who made these tapes, right? Somebody obviously knew that Trump was going to be, potentially in trouble. So they got him somehow to, blab. Of course, Trump blabbed. He always blabs. But who did it? God, let's see. Okay, one more time, Spirit. Who made the tapes? It might be that they're not going to tell me. It might be that that is information that we cannot know right now because it would put those people in danger. But let's see if we can get like a general sense. I kind of get a white light. It's like it is. I think Spirit doesn't want me or y'all to know right now because it's too important. It's too serious. What can we tell them about the person who did it? It's a woman. I see that there's a woman who has something to do with it, but that's even. It could even be a man who, like, has more of a feminine understanding of the world or something. It is really, really vague. They're not going to tell me. Um, it could also be somebody who looks like secret security. So those people who are around Trump, the security detail that has been given post presidency. Those guys have the best access, right? And nobody gets to look through their sock drawers to find out if they're the insider. They're perfectly positioned. So I just want to say, I don't know if it's them or not, but it could be them because they're perfectly positioned. I really do feel, though, it's also more than one person. Like, I think it's both of those aspects of kind of, lady in the light and serious, more conservative, three-piece suit wearing, 6'4", guys who are there to protect the president. Look, just think of it this way. If you were part of the body that wanted to make sure that government secrets didn't get, you know, read on the toilet by Putin, then what would you do? How would you do that? You would send somebody who's around Trump all the time, obviously from the government, to watch as a sort of agent. And that's, I think, something that has happened. They're untouchable. Trump can't fire them. So that's what's happened. And there's something to do with money that these people have figured out as well. It's something to do with money. And there's another sort of financial crime that they are either discovering or they're just filling in the blanks for it. And it is a real can of worms, that one. Look, one thing about Trump, I hope this gives you optimism now. He's got so many avenues to jail. There are so many different things right now that, okay, maybe even if Florida doesn't work, there, because of the jury pool, if Jack doesn't succeed there, then there is Georgia. And if that doesn't succeed, there's more going on in DC. And then, we also discovered that he was committing crimes in Italy, which potential crimes in Italy, which they covered up when William Barr and John Durham went there. It's just, there's going to be crime after crime after crime. He will never, ever be out of danger of going to jail, even if he doesn't go. It's going to be a real financial hit to Trump and his family. What else can we know about these tapes? The other thing is, Trump doesn't know when he was recorded. So he's starting to fall apart because he has no control over when the tapes come out, when the information comes out, who the witnesses are. He doesn't know anything. And he will keep perjuring himself. Trump keeps getting on TV and saying stupid things that incriminate him or are perjurous. And he will, he doesn't have the power. He doesn't know who to attack when he gets on TV. So things have changed. He's no longer in the position of presidential power. And Jack Smith is going to do, I see him wrapping Trump with these cassette tapes, just wrapping him up, wrapping him up, wrapping him and wrapping him up. Look at Trump's silly lawyers. Do you think that they're going to have any power with Jack Smith? They're almost like, high school kids that are pretending to be lawyers compared to him. And, that stoic face of Jack Smith is like, you can't even read what's on his face. So these are all really, really good things. I remember a long time ago, I saw tapes in a bunch of different situations. And I think that these are really going to be successful and damning. But even a jury with some kind of Trump supporting people hearing him say the words, should I should have cleared this with the government. I should have made this so it's no longer top secret, but I didn't. And I'm showing it to you. There's you make people listen to that information, it's hard to escape the idea that he has broken the law, even though he is Trump. So let's take a look at Russia and this. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Perigzin guy, Perigin. He's the mercenary guy. Starts with a P, I think. Um, just want to wonder what is he doing? I mean, is he really standing up to Putin, or is he working with Putin? Putin's looking at me, and he's got quite a sour face. And Putin also, he's like the Svengali, like trying to pull the strings. Well, one of the strings is broken away. He doesn't have control over it anymore. And this guy's a real threat to Putin. What's worse, he makes it look like Putin is not in control. And that is really trouble for Putin. Because if it looks like he's not in control, maybe he isn't in control, and there's going to be all these people underneath him going, well, I'm paying this guy half of my, the money I raised via crime, and he could go sometime soon. The first person to take him out is going to have the best position. Who should I align with? Putin is very, very worried. and he's running out of sort of space. He always can clamp down, clamp down, clamp down. Well, Russia's as clamped down as it could possibly be, and still he's got this guy, and the mercenary guy has popular support. There are people, under mercenaries under him who are loyal to him and not Putin. There are people there who like him and who think that he could be stronger than Putin. Mm. He's got this, he has this disadvantage in that he is not an attractive person physically. And that is, it's kind of like if you look at his mercenaries, they look pretty sketchy. There's definitely something going on there, but, and I hate to be superficial like this, but there's something, it's almost like the resentment of the outside group. It's like, the people who were not popular in high school and, didn't really get to go on dates. They're kind of, it's the kind of saying, look, it's not fair to us. We're this sort of, incel type people and we're fighting back, and they don't have much going for them except grit. That's like the feeling of it's all about guts for us. We don't have any money, we don't have anything else. It's just guts. And that's how we made it, is via our sort of source of will. And there's a little bit of anger and resentment towards, all Russians from this particular subset of people. These are the guys who were, sent to prison. Other people, did horrible things and didn't go to prison. These guys are mostly in trouble. So it's really important also in the symbolism of how people are sort of mm, creating a groundswell of anti-Putin behavior. There's a strong urge to start to go against the representative government. So it would be different if it's, Ukrainians fighting back because they perceive that as another country. But they don't perceive this guy as another country. They perceive him as another force within their country. So there's two orbits going on of power between this Peril guy and Putin. I can see the orbits and they're starting to overlap, and it's like a circle, except that the mercenary guy is looking pretty good. Putin's sort of gold circle, it's almost like it's fake gold, that it's just a superficial kind of gold paint. If you really look at it, he's not as powerful as people perceive him to be, and it's all about perceptions. I'm seeing a rocket. I'm seeing it turn towards Russia. It looks like a fairly serious rocket. I don't know if this is literal or figurative. I think it's a figurative one, but it's if they're fighting in Ukraine, they're not under Putin's dominion. They're in Ukraine. So Putin cannot control these forces. And the question is right now, will Putin fight this guy? So will they be fighting each other rather than Ukraine? To some degree, this seems to be happening already. It's not that they're going to shoot any kind of rocket at each other, but the rockets are pointed at each other, and they're just kind of waiting. Like, what's going to happen politically? Will we do this? Will we do that? Look, it's very, I see Zelenskyy kind of giggling there, like, wow, this is the best thing that could ever happen. You could even see Zelenskyy teaming up with the Persian guy against Putin, and almost not even physically fighting, more a threat, more a threat that they could get together, is really messing with Putin. It looks like he is losing power. And if it looks like that, then it might happen. There is palace intrigue going on for Putin. oh, Putin has cut his finger and he's like, you know, trying to stop the bleeding by like sucking on it, but it keeps bleeding. It's a small cut, but it won't stop. And he's trying to cover it up. He's like, okay, yeah. And then there's like a little stain on his shirt, and then there's a bit here and there, and he's starting to look a little bit frantic. And of course, he's leaving spots of blood all over the place. He is. It's like a weakness. It's also, the blood of his people that he has spilled. There's an interesting thing that's happening. You can control people with fear and anger, but there's a consequence to that, and that is that eventually they might fear someone else more, and anger can also be used against you. So it's kind of I hate to use the term karma because I think people don't understand that, in the West very well or on the planet very well. But there is a sort of, consequence, let's just say that, for Putin's, net of fear. And I'm really seeing it as a net, and there's like a rip in it. Because if this guy can oppose Putin, then why can't other people oppose Putin? And if Putin looks like he's on the way out, then why shouldn't we start speaking freely, right? Why shouldn't we start challenging the government? Maybe we want to say that because, once Putin's gone, we'll be the heroes who spoke up to him. There are people who are biding their time and they are waiting for the right moments. They're waiting for the right moments to protest. This is a big problem for Putin. He's not holding on to power well. There's too many fires for him to put out. There are too many people who are suspicious to him. He can't tell who his friends and enemies are. He's becoming increasingly paranoid. He's kind of tuning in to really dark forces in the universe, right? Like it's kind of like somebody who just believes conspiracy theories. Once you open the door, it's like they'll just take over. It's like a virus. And that's starting to happen for him. He believes all his hogwash. He believes all his, macho stuff. This won't be good for him. And Putin is starting to maintain himself using drugs. There's some kind of drug that he is taking, and it could be, I mean, I think it's injected speed actually, which is trying to make him look like he is energetic and healthy, but it's becoming a problem. It's becoming an addiction. There are aspects of it that weren't, that were, originally just to make him look young. But now these injections, I think they're injections and perhaps pills that he's taking, are starting to make him more paranoid, which it sounds like crystal methadone to me. That's what I saw when I lived around people who did that. It's just terrible, terrible stuff. But I don't feel so much sympathy right now for Putin. So, Spirit, what's going to happen then? What should we expect with the war in Ukraine? 6 months. I get the number 13. I wonder if it's going to happen. Something's going to happen on the 13th. In 6 months, he's in a very challenged position. I think that Putin looks like he has to even flee. Like it could be that extreme that it is like finally the people rebel in such a strong way that he has to even escape or at least leave Moscow to get together with his forces. There could be that dramatic of a civil war where some people support him and others support another, more, perhaps aligned with the, sort of neo army Parisian force. Yeah, January and February will be extremely important months in the history of Russia. Let me just also say, long live Ukraine. For those of you fighting in Ukraine, know that you are supported throughout the world. We believe in democracy and the right to self determination. So go, guys. Go, ladies. Anything else? Nope, that's it. Thanks so much for watching.